Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Michael Jordan at 38-39 versus LeBron at 38-39. LeBron had another failed season, right? And all the media could do was talk about stats in an era, a faster paced era with no defense, no positional players, and four guys sitting at the 3-point line, limited on playing defense thanks to the NBA. Okay, we're going to get into some of these stats in a minute of what you see on the screen, but let's keep in mind it was a difference between Jordan starting the season at 38 and then turning 39, and LeBron starting the season this year at 38 and then turning 39 years old. We're going to get into some of that right now. So Michael Jordan, when he came back at 38, 39, was already the GOAT, was chasing nobody, came off the couch after 3 years, smoking cigars and drinking whiskey and eating what kind of food, we don't know. I'm not going to say it was all McDonald's because Michael Jordan is rich, but this guy wasn't eating like he was playing basketball. We all know that. He was way overweight. So he had to get back down to weight, messed up his ribs. I think it was a scrimmage game playing Ron Artest. So he messed up his ribs. He already had a bad knee that ended up getting worse. We all know about this. But he entered that season with the most accolades in NBA history and still does. Didn't go get a Hall of Fame player or a top 75 teammate or go play on a team with such, right? And everybody knows back then what Michael Jordan was playing for. Basically, it was for fun, right? The most competitive guy ever is going to basically start his career over. It's like coming in the 84-85 season with no help as a rookie. That's the type of talent he was playing with. So they want you to believe the most competitive player ever was looking to what? Win championships? Was looking to chase somebody at 38, 39 years old with no help? The second worst team in the NBA? Donated all his money to the 9/11 victims. Unlike somebody else who supposedly has over $1 billion and keeps getting max contracts, Michael Jordan didn't want that. When we look at LeBron James, 38-39 this season, 4-6, top 75 teammate, eventually will be an all-star teammate, and an all-NBA teammate, and he will get gentleman swept again by the same plumber with no all-star teammate, no Hall of Fame teammate, and no all-NBA teammate. Joker. Right? Gentleman swept. And if Michael Jordan had the luxury of getting in the play-in, they would have been in the play-in. I think in both seasons he played with Washington. And we all know he had to shut it down with 20 games to go, I think, with a bum knee. So to me, Michael Jordan's season at 38-39, I wouldn't say it was a success, but it wasn't a failure neither. For LeBron, on the other hand, who pays for his athleticism, his what's it say? Paid for his athleticism to be talented, right? Every offseason, I think it's been like since 2012 or something like that. This guy has spent $1 million in the offseason just to play the next season. Wow. What? LeBron, who was putting up all these stats at 38, 39 that nobody has, supposedly in this no-touch era that has been like that since 2005, when they had to implement these rules so he could finally make the playoffs in 2006, it just kept getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And Michael Jordan wasn't out there flopping, crying, embarrassing themselves, flexing at women like he was going to hit them. Playing for the love of the game, not for the love of the money or the fame. This was Michael Jordan. This season for LeBron at 38, 39, he put up 2 40-point games. Let me see. Yeah, he put up 2 40-point games. Michael Jordan put up 3 40-point games in a 50-point game. So for LeBron James in the no-touch era, supposedly this great three-point shooter all of a sudden, where's all his 40-point games? He never got the 4 like Michael Jordan? What about his 50-point games? Never got to one 50-point game this year? In those games, Michael Jordan shot 51.5%, 55.3%, 50%, 62.1%, and 56% from the field. Oh, but he was just scoring. In those games, he had 7 rebounds, another game, 7 rebounds, another game, 10 rebounds, another game, 8 rebounds, another game, 4 rebounds. Maybe not a lot of assists. One of those games, 3 assists, another game, 4, another game, 7, another game, 2, another game, 7. Steals, one of those games, 1, another game, 3, another game, 3, another game, 2, another game, 2. And this was not on, because LeBron, his 40-point games, if I'm not mistaken, he was shooting the hell out of 3. Which I'm not going to hold that against him. But apparently, when we look at Michael Jordan doing it from the mid-range, mostly, it's more impressive. And it's more impressive in a more physical era. Yes, they were still hand-checking. Yes, it was still elbows in the back. Go check it out. I had a fool tell me, oh, no, that was in 95, 96. They said you couldn't hand-check no more. Go check it out. The last shot, 98, against Utah. As soon as Jordan caught the ball, Byron Russell hand-checked him. Jordan took off and then pushed off and then shot the shot. Won the game. Go back and look at Washington games. When Michael Jordan was playing, it was hand-checking. It wasn't until the offseason in 05 when they did away with hand-checking. Remember, LeBron couldn't make the playoffs 04 and 05 because it was still that physical era that Michael Jordan just came out of in Washington. You guys are talking about they changed the rules for Michael Jordan because the Pistons couldn't punch and kick him in the air no more? Wow. Oh, man, they were doing that to everybody. No. The Pistons might have been shoving somebody while they were on the ground or pushing or something like that. They wasn't punching and kicking Larry Bird while he was in the air. Because they knew once Michael Jordan was in that air, you couldn't stop him. So they literally had to grab this dude out of the air, out of mid-air. I'm surprised he even got through it without an injury. And if he would have got an injury, that would have been okay back then. So in the 90 offseason, they said, well, if you punch and kick somebody in the air, that's a flagrant foul no more. I mean, that's a flagrant foul now. It was still hand checking, elbows in the back, body to body, but you can't punch and kick somebody in the air. Or was it flagrant? And the LeBron fans, they had the nerve to say that's not fair. No, that's not fair that you got to play football to stop somebody. What ain't fair is that you had to change the defensive rules in the '05 offseason just so LeBron could make the playoffs. And from then on, he could barrel to the basket with no hand checking, no elbows in the back, and all this. Now, what the LeBron fans will say is, I can show you photos of them still hand checking LeBron and using elbows. Yes, it did consist. It still went on, but it could be called at any time now. Unlike when Jordan was playing in Washington or the Fools say back in 95, 96 when they outlawed it. No, they totally outlawed it now. You see this famous picture, right? Where they got in the '07 finals, right? You got all the Spurs swarming LeBron in that famous picture, right? So-called famous picture, right? And it said they never did this to Jordan, or this is what they needed to do to stop LeBron. First of all, they did worse to Michael Jordan. The Pistons did. Second of all they was doing is had their hands up and keeping this guy on the perimeter, and the guy turned into a brick fest. They wasn't hand checking him. They weren't putting elbows in his back. Go look in the '90s. It was still hard fouls. No, they wasn't punching and kicking Jordan, but it was still hard fouls. Not just on Jordan, anybody that went to the hole, right? A lot of times. That's why Michael Jordan really stopped going to the hole as much, especially in the second three-peat, because you was going to get hammered. You would have to earn those points through free throws. And even if you hit the free throws, you still got hammered. I mean, you don't want to keep getting hammered like that. Unlike what the past 12 since 2000, about 12, 13, these guys aren't making LeBron earn his points. In the '80s and '90s, leaving the Pistons out of it, they would hammer LeBron. They won't punch and kick him, but they would, if he's just going to drive to the hole every time, they're just going to make him earn it. Especially because he's not a good free throw shooter. That's what I'm trying to say. Obviously you're not going to, hammer Jordan every time he goes, because you're going to hope he misses it or something like that, or just go up, whatever. But for LeBron in the '80s and '90s, you just want to get this guy to foul because he's a brick fest. And plus, he won't be able to go there like that. Just because the position he played, he couldn't get past some of those power forwards. That's what he really would play in the '80s and '90s, power forward. His handles are overrated. He would get ripped every time. He would drive and do that elbow thing and swat people away, and then knock him on his butt. You just couldn't bully. I've never seen nobody bully like that in the '80s and '90s. As big as Oakley was, or Mason was, or any of these guys. Karl Malone, Charles Barkley. I'm not trying to say they didn't go to the basket with force, without force, but the way LeBron goes to the hole, pushing people in elbows and clear outs, nah, they ain't gonna let you do that, bro. So I just wanted to bring this up. Jordan's 38-39 season was more successful than LeBron James. Even though Michael Jordan didn't make the playoffs and his knee went out. When his knee went out, he was like averaging like 26 points, 6 rebounds. No, it was like 7 rebounds, 6 assists. It was something like that. And he didn't have this kind of help. Even look at the whole Lakers roster. Look at all those shooters he's got. D'Lo, Reeves, These type of guys. Now I don't know if they could play back in 2001, 2, and 3. I just don't think they could play back then. Maybe I don't know. Maybe D'Lo could. Um, Anthony Davis will have to tighten up. And all this flopping when they take a shot, these guys will be a joke. We just never seen superstars flop back in the day. Only time you ever seen a guy flop is when they were standing in taking a foul. And when I talk about stand in and take a foul, if you're gonna stand in and take that foul, you're gonna get busted up in the chops. And somebody like Dennis Rodman, he's gonna flop around, but he's not the star player. Maybe a Dan Marley, something like that. But he wasn't a consistent flop artist or nothing like that. I want to think about somebody else. I can't remember no names. But yeah, you never see nobody flop on a shot. Now Reggie Miller, he did like a kick out, something like that, when he shot the three. But all this driving to the basket that you see with the Lakers is flopping. AD, Reeves, not too much Hachimura. I seen D'Lo do it a few times. LeBron is a he's a flop artist. Yeah, that stuff's not working. Just not working back in the day. In the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, you would get laughed at. The referees would laugh at you. What are you doing? Like I said, that's something for Dennis Rodman. Maybe to get under the teammate's skin or something like that. But he wasn't like that before, when he was with Detroit. But yeah, Dennis Rodman would have a good time with LeBron James. That that would be something. That would be something. I think he would have this dude crying for his mama. Have him crying like Dennis Rodman said. The guy ain't got no moves. Got no moves. He got no moves. What are you gonna do when they shut down the lane in the '90s? You're done. Anybody just gonna let you sit out there and shoot threes like they do today? That stuff ain't gonna happen. So yeah, the LeBron fans, they got a lot to explain when we look at this. That LeBron couldn't, and I know he wanted to get these 40-point games. I think one of these is off. I think 11, 23, 20. It's supposed to be 11, 23, 23, not 24. So I think he got one when he was 38. Yeah, Michael Jordan got his at 38 and 39. But LeBron couldn't get no 40-point games. This is a guy that ducked Anthony Edwards so many games. That's probably why they didn't want to play the They didn't want to play the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards would have ate this guy up. He ducked Kevin Durant for a long time. Who else did he duck? Man, he's a guy ducking all kind of people, man. Ducking all kind of people. He should have been ducking Joker during the regular season because they was beating him during the regular season too. So, yeah, somebody's got to explain this, how this guy's spending $1.5 million in the offseason just to play the next season since about 2012. Nobody can explain that. But yet, Michael Jordan just came off the couch in a more physical era, putting up 40 and 50-point games with fractured, broken ribs. And yet LeBron, when his foot hurts, he can't play. That's what I'm saying. You guys got to stop these comparisons. And his career is over. A lot of people say in 2018, remember he said he was the GOAT in 16, got gentleman swept in 17, and then got blew out, swept in 18. His career was over. He basically went to LA for what? Didn't make the playoffs the first season. He went over there to sell merch and sell tickets, and the Lakers were with it. Because it's to me it's a greedy franchise. They don't care about winning when they want him in there. He's a loser. And he's been promoted as a winner, a 4-6 loser. Only in this sport. Like I said in my past video, they were stuck with this guy. They were stuck with this guy after, he lost in 2011. They were stuck with him. Kobe already, did his thing. Shaq was gone. All the greats were gone. They were stuck with this guy, hoping, you know, he would be a winner. And he came out a loser. So all they could do all these years was just lie. That's all the media could do was lie and tell you that what you're seeing on the court is something different. And he's running team to team. Help me, help me, help me. Playing with other teams' number one franchise players and bringing other teams' number one franchise players. No, man. Tell me what you think.